By the time auditors figured out Ohio's electronic classroom of tomorrow had been cheating on enrollment figures, the cyber charter had already cost the state over $1 billion. Rather than pay back the $80 million he had overbilled, the company's owner simply decided to go out of business. This is just one of the many ways education technology is failing to meet expectations. For years, edu-tech companies have funded research into online learning, then spun the data to promote their products. But a new comprehensive report by the Network for Public Education questions the for-profit industry and what they're really up to. Online learning, what every parent should know, finds that full-time online students perform considerably worse when compared to their face-to-face counterparts. What's more, both full-time and blended high school graduation rates are far lower than the national average. The report goes on to show that countries which have invested heavily in education technology have seen no noticeable improvement. And students who use the software complain they don't feel like they're learning. Many researchers take this to mean building deep conceptual understanding requires intensive teacher-student interaction. Just to be clear, the gold standard in instruction is a real live teacher. That's why the rich demand it for their own kids. But districts strapped for cash after years of underfunding need right now solutions to their big problems. Enter Mark Zuckerberg's for-profit initiative, the Gates Foundation, and Google, all of which offer generous grants promoting online learning. But parents and guardians should be very careful about who's seeing their children's private information. It turns out the latest shiny new gimmick out of Silicon Valley, Summit Learning, is owned by Zuckerberg, whose other tech company, Facebook, allowed a third-party vendor to sell 50 million of its users' private information without their knowledge. Despite being hugely promoted and publicized, many full-time online schools and part-time blended and personalized learning schools receive significant funding and attention only to yield disappointing results over time. Tech companies have spent in excess of $75 million lobbying Congress to invest an additional $4 billion in online learning. They spent almost $100 million in advertising alone, including spots on Nickelodeon and the Cartoon Network. And they have armies of salespeople making big promises to principals and school boards around the country. So you can expect to see more stories about waste, fraud, and abuse coming to a district near you. If you'd like to read the report in its entirety, you can click on the link in the description section of this video.